and actually it was in New York that I got Texas Chainsaw 2. Because I had done a short film. I had, wrote it and produced it.
I remember you telling me about
Yeah,
this.
it's called the Texas Chainsaw Manicure. And that was a little under 5 minutes long, and I made it to try to get it on Saturday Night Live, and they didn't take it. So I ended up having to, pay for it, which was very hard for me. And but anyway, I was out in Los Angeles working for a magazine called Omni Magazine. And I was on a junket to cover the making of 2010: A Space Odyssey for Omni. And during the course of that, a friend of mine from high school who had was already like a hot writer in Hollywood. He and his partner had written Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So he was already, he had a house and a wife, and the whole deal. And so I brought along a copy of The Manicure to show him, just to amuse him, because it wasn't doing anything else for me, for anyone. And so I went over to dinner at his house, and I showed him this. It was a VHS, and I showed it to him. And he said, this is awesome. And of course, in The Manicure, I give myself a cameo as the hitchhiker at the end of the Chainsaw Manicure. And so I showed it to him, and he said, this is great. If you can give me a copy, my partner and I have an office right across the hall from Tobe Hooper, who was at Paramount Pictures working on Poltergeist. And so I said, what the heck, sure. So I gave him a copy. He, true to his word, he marched it across the hall, showed it to Tobe. Tobe popped it in his VHS player, watched it, loved The Manicure, especially loved my cameo as the hitchhiker, and invited in his producing partner, Steven Spielberg. This is back in '84, to come and watch it. They both loved it. And 2 years later, I got a call from a guy named Kit Carson, who had written the script for Texas Chainsaw 2, asking me where to send the script. And I said, who is this really? And they sent me the script. And he told me to look at this part of Chop Top. And I did. And the next call was from Canon Films Legal saying, do you have an agent, or do you want to negotiate your own contract? And I'm in New York City going, what the fuck is going on here? And yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much. It's like people think it happens instantly. There was like
2 years.
2 years.
Oh, yeah.
There's a long period of time
Yes.
where something ends up happening that changes your life, and you think, oh man, that's happened overnight. No, it didn't. No, he paid a lot of rent between the time that he had that moment where Spielberg saw the thing to where he actually was engaged in some employment.
And they gave me the job based on that 5-second, 20-second cameo in Chainsaw Manicure.
Did you have an agent?
I didn't, but I had met one at a Christmas party a couple of months earlier. And she was Risa Shapiro, and she worked at William Morris. And I'd met her at a Christmas party, so I called her up and said, hey, do you want to negotiate a contract? Oh, it's for an agent, that's free money. So she said, sure. And I remember her calling me back. As a writer, I was probably making about $250 a week. Maybe that was my kind of average income. And she called me back. She said, well, they want you to be in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They want you to play this part of Chop Top. And I was like, wow, that's fucking awesome. She said, that's the good news. And, and there is some bad news. And I said, well, what's that? And she said, well, they're only going to pay you scale. And I was like, ooh, how much is that? She said, oh, I don't know. I think it's like $1,600 a week or something. I was like, what? That's insane. That's more than I'm making, for like half a year. And so she said, well, there's other bad news. I said, what's that? She said, well, you've got makeup and there's a plate in the side of your head, so they want you to shave your head. And I went, okay. And she said, so I told them, as a working actor, you wouldn't get work, so they've agreed to pay you $5,000 to shave your head.
Bless your heart.
I was like, oh my God, that's the bad news? Holy shit. So anyway.
Phone calls getting really nice.
So,
all those Pantene commercials right out the window.
Oh man. So anyway, it was like winning the lottery. Sometimes it just takes luck, really.